registers and counters we have seen. So adders we have seen. Did we see this adders, half addition and full addition? Did we complete this topic?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So implementation of full adder, taking half adders as the building blocks. So that is over.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So then next topic, maybe we'll go for sequence. Shell machines we take. Sequential circuits. If I find any of the topic not covered, I'll go back and complete that at the later classes, okay? Uh, like you check the syllabus, any content is missing, not dealt in the class, you also can tell me, okay? So the sequential circuits, the extensions of this, like we taking the flip-flops as the memories. And this portion we have seen how we were able to get the, what you say, uh, the different types of memories, that is latch, JK, SR, T and D. Okay, these concepts we have seen. In this, in this, did we see the excitation requirements, excitation table? Excitation tables.
Yes, ma'am.
We have completed.
So excitation table of JKSR building.
Ah, okay. So these were the tables until what we have seen that in the sequential is the logic table, voltage table, your truth table. Then later we have taken the what you say, the excitation requirements table. Okay. So all these, when we try to put that into a design, we'll be able to address the sequential circuits. And here, see, the element of what we say, the linear implementation will be addressed by the time scale implementation. That means something like we are saying the input versus output and next state along with the present condition that is existing. Okay, so these things, if we put them together, are we taking these designs into responding to a reference signal or without reference? Reference in the sense, generally we are saying this is a system clock, we are saying it is a reference signal. And though you say without reference means we are not saying that the clock is not there. Clock will be there, but independent clocks will be there for each segment or each block. Okay, maybe we can say that any one of the block, if it is not having a common clock along with all other components, then we can consider that circuit as without reference. That's something like we can categorize that based on the element of what we call it as synchronous, asynchronous. Okay, and here also we can have complete and incomplete, both we have. Okay, so synchronous complete sequential design or synchronous incomplete sequential design, asynchronous complete, asynchronous incomplete sequential designs. Okay, now how to address these things is um, with the help of excitation tables. Okay, we implement this portion. Is it recording? With the help of the excitation tables, we'll be deciding what is the input that has to be given to the memory element, that is your feedback path. And from that, we will be taking the input combinations versus the present status. So we derive the new outputs. Now here, we can divide these designs into two elements, something like Mealy machine and Moore machines. Okay, heard of these terms? Mealy machine and Moore machine. Like here we are defining, say if this is Z and if this is X and these are your capital Y versus small y. Now here, if your system output, okay, Z is your system output, depends on the present state as well as the input. Present state, that means small y, as well as the input, then such type of machines, we call them as Mealy machine. Mealy machines. The other type is if your output depends only on the present state, then they are called as Moore machines. Anytime you heard of these two terms or these two classification of the machines, machine is the design. Mealy and Moore. Something there is a minute difference between these two machines, wherein here we are defining the output based on the status and the input what is available at that moment. That is Mealy. Only the state defines the output. Then such type of designs we call them as Moore machines. Now again categorizing this, we can say that they are complete Mealy, incomplete Mealy, or complete Moore, incomplete Moore. Okay, these are all broad classifications we are taking. Once we design the system, once we get the table, then we can define what type of design is that. So for this, if you remember, we had some rules for synthesizing the combinational logic designs. Hope you remember that. Yes. What was the first statement we are given? Understand the problem statement, derive your what you say, the truth table or Boolean equation, find the redundancy, and get the minimized equations either using any of the minimization techniques. Then go for physical implementation. We were saying that was very simple. But coming to the sequential, did we see the rules of minimization, or what are the rules of synthesizing the sequential circuits? Did we give the list for sequential designs? Quickly respond, please. Sequential designs. Rules of synthesizing the sequential systems.
Not given, ma'am.
No?
Not given.
Okay.
No.
So the first statement holds the same thing, that is understanding a problem statement, whether it is sequential or combinational. First, we have to understand the problem statement, and that from that problem statement, what we will be defining is here how the inputs are there and how the status signals, or what you say, the condition of the design will be giving you different outputs. That has to be properly understood here for sequential designs, because we have this feedback path, because this is the one which is influencing the design in something different way. Based on the present state, you will be defining new values of output in the next state. Okay, here what we take is how we define this problem statement is with the help of what we call it as state diagram or state table, we say. Okay, This state diagram or state table will be giving you say the rough picture or the complete picture of both the things. Rough and complete, I'm saying. Rough is before trying, like before going for physical design, first we try to take the main points of the problem statement. Then we try to design the circuit. Then we will be testing it. If it is not properly working, maybe we redesign that or we do some alterations. Okay, or we define some combination of inputs which is not defined in the problem statement. All these things, if you put together, you'll be getting a complete design. Okay, your problem statement, if you need to implement that into a complete output or a physical design, we need to not only define the problem statement inputs, not only that, what are not defined by the problem statement also we need to assess it. Okay, so that sort of assessment or that sort of what is a analysis will be given by state diagram or state table. So derive the state diagram or state table. The second step in combinational is derive the truth table. Here, the second rule of synthesis for sequential is derive the state diagram or state table. I'll tell you what is this. Okay. Here, the table in your truth table or your combinational logic design table will be having a combination of input versus output alone. No? We were having only this. Here, what we have is it is the present state on which, based on the inputs, x can be any number of inputs. Okay, combination of inputs that defines what is the next state it is going to and what is the output it is giving out. So if you can fill this table, this is the one which is defining your problem statement. This we call it as the state table. State table will be having the present state versus the inputs, all possible inputs. Okay, your problem statement may give its required inputs, but we need to define all other inputs which are not defined by the problem statement also. Then only it will be a complete system. Complete system in the sense, what you say, finished design. Okay, so this table, this state table will be defining this aspect of what is the transition or what is the next state it is going to and releasing what sort of output based on the input versus present state. The same thing we take the diagrammatical format, it will be a state diagram. We take this as an example and I'll explain that. Okay, so problem statement, from that we try to take the state table or diagram. Okay. Then what we take is divide transition table. If you we take a example, you will be understanding all this. Transition table and output table. Okay. Then assign state variables. Just make a note of these points. Then we'll take up one point by point for a specific design. Okay. Now here we are saying only present state. We are not mentioning the state variables small y and capital Y. That means assigning state variable is how many number of states we have. Normally these states will be defined with ABCDs format. Okay, we name them as ABCDs initially. Then what we do, how many number of states are there? How many number of states are there? Say n number of states are there. Say we take the status variables, this one, the status variables as 2 power m, which should be greater than or equal to the n number of states you have. That means m status variables will be considered. So here we have 4 means this y has to be 2, greater than or equal we said. No? So y will be 2. I can take this order as y1, y2 or y1, y2. Now this is designer specific order. Okay. So these state variables will be assigned. State variables will be assigned. How many number of state variables to be assigned depends on the number of states defined by the state table or diagram. Okay. Then later what we have to do is we need to minimize the table. That means check for redundancy. Check for redundancy. Then this redundancy means wherever there is a possibility of minimizing the number of states in the table, we need to check it. We have some rules of minimization here, checking the redundancy and all. Then later is that we assign these values, these state variables with some values. Say now here we are having say 4 states, means that with the 2 variables we can address these 4 states. So assign the variables with values. Okay, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1. This is binary order. The other order what to be assigned is gray order. Both has to be assigned. This is what you say mandatory for a designer to assign both the types of assignment. That means values. You have to define the equations. And next portion is that we need to take the assignment which is giving a minimal equation, or what you say irreducible minimal equation. Fewer times normal binary assignment may give a minimal equation, or the other way gray assignment can give a minimal equation. That means this is a repetitive step, like you have to repeat this sixth step. Okay, once assigning a binary order, and the other way is assigning the gray order. That means here we'll be taking the equations. That means that is called as valid assignment. Which one gives you a minimal form equation? That is called as valid assignment. Find the valid assignment, derive the equations, then go for physical design. Something like steps seems to be a little bit new for us, but we take a example, then we'll be understanding this. Okay. So the known example we'll start with. Say I'll take a half adder. Okay. Take a half adder. Or okay, half adder. We don't. Is it sequential or combinational? Half adder is sequential or combinational?
Combinational.
So sequential, we go for sequential design. So full adder. Okay. Now, hope you remember that taking half adders and implementing this full adder. Okay, 2 half adders, 1 OR gate we have taken, and we have assessed the carry status and all. Okay, so that is one aspect, and we have taken the full adder design as it is with the direct truth table, and we have compared the complexity of implementing the direct truth table of full adder versus implementing a full adder using a half adder. Okay, this was something what was done in what you say iterative mode. That means combinational mode. Now, when I want to put this into sequential, the implementation that was done in iterative should be converted that into time scale. That means here, this element of design should be divided between what portion will be combinational logic and what portion should be taken as the feedback element. See here, if I take this, you say A and B are the inputs that you are adding, you will be getting the sum and carry. If I leave this like this becomes a half adder. This becomes a half adder. Now, what is the element that is influencing the next stages is not the sum. This is carry. The carry coming from the previous stage will be taken back into the in place bit addition. Okay. So you remember that path, no? So carry becomes the feedback path. Now this carry, either you take a D flip-flop, SR, JK or T or whatever it is, design specific flip-flop will be taken and the output of this will be taken as the input. Now what happens? This is capital Y, this is small y. Okay, so every element here will be having the same clock. Clock will be same. So this becomes the sequential system clock. Now how we are implementing this? Here, this simple design can be used for any number of bits. If you remember that 3-bit full adder, I don't remember. Did we take a 3-bit or 4-bit? I think 3-bit or any number of bit you take n-bit full adder. If it is to be implemented, what is the number of half adders that are needed? 2n minus 1, we said 2n minus 1 half adders and n minus 1 OR gates. No? This is our complexity of the design. The 3-bit we need means 5 half adders and 4 sorry 2 OR gates. This was the complexity. You refer back to your previous session notes. Okay, so how much of delays are there here? 5 half adder delays and 2 OR gate delays are to be taken care of. Like the more the number of bits, the more the number of half adders and OR gates added into the design, and that much increase in the propagation delay. But now the same thing I can implement here. I can implement this as any number of bit full adder, n-bit full adder. What is the thing? What adds here as a new point is with respect to the clock we are using. Here we didn't mention any clock here, if you remember. We didn't mention any clock. Did we mention the clock in the design of the half adder full adder there? Almost 10 days gap, there won't be any answer from your side. Clock is the element what we are adding here to this design now. That means we are now taking the analysis based on the clock. But here we didn't take that based on the clock. The in-place bits were added, taking care of the carry coming from the previous stages. So now the same concept, I would like to put that into the sequential mode. In this sequential mode, we are putting a system clock which is guiding the transitions that is happening between the inputs and outputs. Okay, now see here, this is a carry which is taken, say, as Ci minus 1. So your full adder design will be Ai, Bi, Ci minus 1, which gives sum and carry. Okay, this is your what is a black box sort of thing what we have taken. So this is the element which is influencing the next stages taken back. So here this carry is the feedback path and sum is the ultimate output. So sum becomes Z. Okay, A and B are X. So X values. That means say X1 and X2 if I take 2 inputs. Now I'll put together what is the table you'll be getting. See here, I have a state table from the problem statement, the present state, okay, and inputs are AB, that means X1 and X2 I'm taking, are adding with the present state, which defines our output, that is the next state, and Z. That means Z, this Z is sum, this next state is the carry that is getting generated. So this is the carry that is coming from the previous stage. Okay, so here how many values you can have for a carry? Carry can have 2 values now. Carry can be 0 or 1. I think this analysis we have done. Say in place bits are 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, or 1, 0, 1, 1 sort of thing, the combination of inputs. If there is no carry from the previous stage, if there is a carry from the previous stage, what is the carry at the ultimate bit position, that bit position? This analysis we have done in this application. Okay. Same way, if you take the probable values of the carry are only two values. Okay, so I take each as one state. Say I consider carry of 0 as state A, carry with 1 as state B. Now A and B are the states. A defines that carry is 0, B defines that state as carry is 1. Now x1 and x2 in place bits, that means AB value 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 1, 0. Okay. This will be taken in the gray order itself for simplification purpose. Okay. Now see here, when in place bits are 0, 0 and the present state is A, means that carry is 0 coming from the previous stage. What is the output it will generate? Output is sum. It will be 0. And what is the carry? Carry is next state. Carry will be 0. 0 means A. It will be in same state A. Able to understand? The present AB bits, that is x1 and x2 I am taking. In place bits are 0, 1, no carry. The present state is A. The sum will be 1. Okay. And there is no carry generated. That means it stays back in the same state A. Present state is A, carry 0 coming from the previous stage. In place bits are 1, 1. Sum will be 0. There will be a carry. That means state A goes to state B. Same way, 1, 0 in place bits with present state A. Sum will be 1. Carry is 0. That means it will be in same state A. Now come here. If the present state is B, that means that there is a carry coming from the previous stage. Present state is B. In place bits are 0, 0. If you add them, sum will be 1. There is no carry, it goes back to state A. Present state is B, in place bits are 0, 1. So your sum will be 0. Carry will be there, goes to state B. 1, 1 in place bits with present state of B. Sum is 1. Carry is there. So it is state B. It goes to state B. So here 1, 0. 1, 0. Your sum is 0. Carry is there. State B. Able to understand this? This is called a state table. Now you can put this in state diagram also. Both means the same. So whichever is easy for you, that you can take. Okay. So state diagram will be having the nodes. These nodes are nothing but the states whatever the design have. So state A and state B becomes the nodes. Now here the transition from A to B or A to A or B to B or B to A, these are the probable transitions you have, okay, will be defined by the combination of input versus output. How we have given here is next state versus output. Here it will be input versus output and the transition will be shown by an indicated arrow. Okay, so okay, see here, this one in state A means that it is with a carry of 0. Okay, when the input is 0, 0, input is 0, 0, what is the carry value? What is the carry value? 0 only, no? Present state is 0, its value is 0 plus of 0. That means it generates a sum of 0 and it will be in the same state A. So this is the state transition. from A goes back to A. Okay, the other combination. If it is in the present state of A, if the in place bits are 0, 1, that means input is 0, 1 or 1, 0, here carry that is getting generated is 0. So it stays back in the same state A, but generating an output 1. The same thing what we can see here also. See, state A, 0, 0, it will be in same state A, generating output 0, 0, 0, 0 here. 0, 1 or 1, 0 in the present state of A, 0, 1 or 1, 0 in the present state of A, it will be staying back in the same state of A, generating an output of 1. Okay. And here, in the present state of A, if the input is 1, 1, it goes from A to B. That means it is getting a carry generated. 1 plus 1, carry generated. What is the output? 0. Okay. Now, all the combinations or all possible inputs versus output we have seen in the state A. Come back to this state B. In the present state of B, in place bits are say 0, 0. That means inputs. Input is 0, 0. It will be going back to state A, generating a sum value as 1. That means output is 1. Okay. Now, in present state of B, whether it is 0, 1 or 1, 0 input, already here you have 1. 1 plus 0, 1 or 1, 0. What is the carry value? It is 1 only, no? So it will stay back in the same state of B. And the output will be 0. Output is sum. Sum is 0. And in this present state of B, already 1 is there, here carry. If the in place bits, that means the input bits are 1, 1. 1 plus 1 plus 1. It comes back, or what you say, it generates a carry. So it will be staying back in state B. But output, that means sum is 1. So this is state diagram. You can correlate this with this. Same thing it will be mentioning. In state B, 0, 0, this one. State B, 0, 0, it goes back to state A, generating output 1. In state B, 0, 1 or 1, 0, it will be staying back in the state B, generating output 0, this one. And in place bits 1, 1, present state is B, it will be generating a sum, output 1, and it stays back in the same state B for in place bits of 1. So here we try to find the state transitions based on what you say the total inputs happening and the outputs generated. So here this type of state table where every present state defines next state and output for every possible combination of input is complete machine. Okay, and see here one more thing we said is Mealy and Moore. Output, that means that depends not only the present state but also the inputs we said. Here we are getting, see, the output Z here, this one. For the same value, see here of 1, 1 given, if the present state is A, output is 0. If present state is B, output is 1. Output is differing, but state is same. That means this type of machine where, yeah, any state can have different outputs. Any state can have different outputs. that is defined by the present state value and the in place bits, that means X values, input bits, status variables and the input variables define the output value. It is a machine. Now this machine is a complete Mealy machine. This is complete Mealy machine. Okay, what was the third step we have given? We have to divide this into a transition table and output table, we said. So, how many state variables are needed and how many, what happened? Any doubt? Okay, here two states are there. So, how many state variables are needed is one is enough. Y is 1. Okay, only Y is enough. So, Y is 0 or Y is 1. This indicates state A and this indicates state B. Say X1, X2. Here, how many number of present state variables you have, that many number of next state variables comes into here. So, only one with Z as the output. Okay. So, here we try to take this into 2. That means split this into 2. At one step, I am taking the two things, that is assigning the state variable and splitting that. Okay. So if I take this as two tables here, one for Y, another for Z with X1 and X2, we are dividing the table into a transition table. This we call it as transition table. This we call it as output table. Okay. Now here transition means state to state transition we need to write. It is the state to state transition we need to write. And here we need to write the outputs. So here this will be A, B, A, A, B, B, B. Okay. And here this is 0, 1. Output only we'll be writing here. 1, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 0. Okay. Now you replace these A's and B's with the values. Replace that with the values. We define the equations. So 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1. Now, if you check this, this is looking a little bit of K-map sort of thing. No? All 4 steps are over. Step the defining the, like we have to check for the redundancy. There is no possibility of minimization here, or what you say, taking out some states and all. We need to define the complete system here for full adder. We're using 2 states. Okay, there is no possibility of further reducing the number of states. Okay, so for this we have to define the equation. Now we have some methods coming into. If I use here a D flip-flop as the feedback element, we need to derive the equation in terms of Y, and Z will be anyhow this output. That is called as the traditional method, traditional approach, traditional method. Okay, this traditional method, we define the equation of Y and Z, and we try to define the hardware here. Now, see here, this is looking simple like a K-map. So directly, I can take this as grouping of this. What is this equation? Now you are writing this in terms of capital Y will be written in terms of X1, X2, and Y. What is the equation? X1, X2 or X1Y or X2Y, na? This is similar to your carry, na? Carry equation. What is the carry equation with AB's CI minus 1, AI BI, AI CI minus 1, BI CI minus Okay, now here this is sum. This is sum. And you reorder this, that will be in terms of x1, x2, and y. This, if you reorganize that, we can name it as x1, xor of x2, xor of y. This is equation of your sum, that is ai xor of bi xor of ci minus 1. Now when you put this back here, what will be the design? See here. Sorry. You take this as your x1 and x2 are the external inputs, y becomes the internal feedback thing. So z is your output. This is ci minus 1, that is your capital Y coming. Okay, now see here. Take an XOR operator, combine this, you'll be getting this Z implemented. Okay. Take AND or logic, you are implementing that sum and carry between x1, x2, xy, and x2y. I'm not writing this. Combine according to this thing. We try to take this back through a D flip-flop, and this Q will be taken back as the feedback. Your clock is defined. Now, how to implement or how this n-bit thing will be implemented? What is the difference we have is this design is only one block, that we are not repeating this block as we have done in the half adders. We need to take 5 half adders or 2n minus 1 half adders and all we said. No? That means some repetition of the blocks were there based on how many number of bits we were adding. But here we don't do that. This is one block, one design, one segment that will be updated with the new values for each clock. Say 3-bit full addition you want to do, we will be taking something called as clock with respect to clock. When clock is 1, we will be updating the value of x1, x2 and y, okay, with first bit. Next, for clock 2, we will update this with second bit, or second bit in the sense second set of inputs, in place bits. Third clock, we update these values with x1, x2 external bits, y is the feedback thing through your memory. So third bit. That means what is the difference we have? Here we need to wait for the number of clocks. N bits are there, N clocks are needed to complete N bit full addition. Able to find what is the difference in previous implementation and this implementation. There the hardware is repeated or hardware is getting added for every bit of addition. You are adding 2 half adders, 1 OR gate for every 1 bit added. Here this circuit is same, but how many clocks we need to wait is till that n number of bits are getting added. This is sequential implementation. In time scale you are using this. In time scale you are converting this. This was in iterative format. Okay, this is your sequential design approach, sequential analysis. So hope you understood how to define the state table, state diagram, or from that transition table, output table, assigning the values, derive the equation. This is the simplest example we've taken. If you understand this, we can go for the next design. Understood? Security application sort of thing. What is this problem statement, like how we can put this into a problem format, is that the sequence, or what you say, the incoming bits are there. You have the stream or string of incoming bits. Okay. In that bits, you have to identify a pattern, or you have to identify a sequence, or you have to identify the combination of bits. Then your output should be indicated as 1. When a specific pattern or needed sequence or needed combination of bits are coming in the input bit stream. Okay. And here we have two things coming over. See, if input bits are identified, output should be 1. Okay. And in this, we can have some bits getting overlapped, or something like bits not getting overlapped. That analysis has to be done. And something like if it is non-overlapping, what should be the output? That element, if we take, let me explain this. Okay. Overlapping, non-overlapping sequence detection. General sequence detector is that the output of the system should be 1 when a needed sequence is identified, or needed pattern is identified from the bits of incoming string. Okay, that is as simple. Now that we can put that into two different forms of sequences, something like overlapping sequence and non-overlapping sequence. Something like the same. I need to identify a string like this. Say, what is the meaning of this is input, if it is 11011, output should be identifying or highlighting that as 1 once this sequence total 5 bits are detected. Okay, so until that it will be 0. This 5th bit identified, it will be 1. Okay. Next is, if it is non-overlapping means once the sequence identifies a specific pattern, it should give an output of 1, then reset back immediately, and afresh it has to identify the same sequence happening again. That is non-overlapping. Overlapping means any number of last bits of the previous sequence. Pay attention to this statement. Any number of bits which are the last bits of the sequence, the previous sequence, can be the first bits of the next new sequence. That is overlapping. Okay. See here, identify here. I have 5 bits. These are the last bits of the sequence. These are the last bits. These last bits can be the first bits. These are the first bits of the next sequence. So we have to identify, say, how many bits are getting overlapped also has to be identified. And based on that, our state table will be different. Okay. Say as an example, I can take a string of some string is coming. Okay, string of bits. From that we have to pick the sequence. So if it is non-overlapping, for non-overlapping and non-overlap, say output will be 1 where our sequence is coming is here. We get the first one sequence here. After identifying this, it should reset, and again it has to wait for the same sequence to happen. Again here you are getting second sequence. That means this will be 0, 0, 0. Until this the bits are 0. Here we are able to identify the bits of the sequence, but a set of sequence is found, then only its output will be 1. Then it will again reset back 0. Output will be 0. 0, 0, 0, not in sequence, it will be 0. And again here you are getting the bits in the sequence. That means non-overlap. You are getting the output responded in this format. If it is overlap, how many bits can be taken? How many last bits of the previous sequence can be taken as the first bits of the next sequence? Is 2 bits for this example. And this is something like a sequence detector cannot be used for any sequence. It is not universal. It depends on the specific sequence. A sequence detector designed for this will be applicable only for this sequence. If another sequence you have to identify, afresh you have to do the design. Okay. So the last 2 bits can be taken as the first 2 bits. Okay. See here. The last 2 bits here will be taken as the first 2 bits of the next sequence. I can take this as the next sequence. See, second sequence. 1101. Okay, and this becomes the third sequence. Okay, this is first sequence, second sequence, third sequence. So what will be the output for this? 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. This is first sequence identified. Output will be 1. Overlapping, the last bits will be taken as the first bits of the next sequence. This is the new sequence. Here again, output will be 1 after this set of bits happen. And it will reset back, okay, until it gets back another sequence. This is another sequence. So 1, 2, 3. 3 sequences for overlap. Non-overlapping, it is only 2. Understand? Is it clear how you are differentiating this overlap and non-overlap? Are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
So for this sequence, identify if there is overlap. If so, how many bits? This is the sequence, say you are detecting. How many bits can be taken as overlap the bits? Is there any overlap? If overlap is there, how many bits? No answer. No answer. What is this? People are there or not? This is the sequence to be detected. Are there any overlapping bits? If they are
Yes,
there,
ma'am,
how
there are
many
there.
bits?
Like
How many
1
bits?
0 and 1 0.
2 bits.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
2 bits can be taken as overlapping. The last 2 bits can be taken as the first bits of the sequence. So if you are able to identify this now for this sequence,
Like
huh?
Yes.
first 2 and 3 and 4, we can do it like that.
last bits should be identified as the first bits of the sequence. That is overlap, no?
Okay,
How
sir.
many
Clear.
bits? One or 2 or 3 or 4. Three bits will be overlapped. 101. I can take it as the first bits of the next sequence. Say for this example, I take this here for this. Non-overlap, if X is that, non-overlap, there won't be any problem. For overlap, we have to see, this sequence is 1 0 1 0. So 0 0 0 1 0 1 0. First set we got. Again, this becomes 1 0 1 0. The second thing. So second sequence. Again, here you are getting 1 0 1 0. So 0 1. And that's all, 0. That means how many sequences we were able to identify is 3 here. Yeah. So for this sequence, if I need to identify, where I'll get the first sequence 1 0 1 0. This is the first sequence. Okay. This is the second sequence. That's all. Two sequences you will be identifying 0 0 0 0 0 1 0 1 0 0 0. This is overlap I'm giving. Non-overlap, if you take, this is overlap. If you consider, this is the output you get, overlap. For non-overlap, Z will be 0 0 0 1 0. This is 1. Afresh it has to find out. So 0 0 0 1. That means it will be two sequences only. It will be considered non-overlap. For overlap, 3 sequences. 3 were coming. Yep, see. And for this non-overlap, if you take Z of non-overlap, how many for this sequence? 0.
Only
One,
one.
ma'am.
Huh?
Ma'am, for non-overlap case, only one.
Non-overlap, only 1. And the other bits, it will be 0. That is the difference. So the sequence detector, you need to identify. You need to identify the bits first of all. How many number of bits are there? How many number of bits can be taken as overlapping? And based on that, from that we will be defining the state transitions. That means state table or diagram format, and we'll be defining the design. So you understood this concept of overlapping and grouping. Next hour, I'll take this design. I'll stop here. If any minor doubts are there, you can get them clarified. Any doubts are there, or else I close the session.